Good morning and welcome to another episode on the ATT channel, our One Tough Tinny channel. We're kicking along alright, guys. We finally got our boat back. I'll fill you in on what happened with it just shortly. We're out doing a bit of testing today. As you may have seen in the last episode, I think kayaking, I'll tell you right now, I'm pretty happy to have my boat back. But anyway, Frank's already fallen in once, he's all wet. But yeah, so anyway, I might as well fill you in on what happened. On our channel here, we tell you everything about what happens. We don't show you it's all smoke and mirrors. This is real life what we do here. So we needed a little bit more horsepower, let's just say that. We run 140, the fly-by-wire 140, the new model on this thing, and it's been really good so far. But obviously, as you've seen, we're trying to tow a jet ski now, and a lot of it's to do with propping. Yes, I do agree, and a few of you will be sitting back there saying, well, if you can't get up out of the water, change your prop. Totally agree. But propping this thing down bumps our fuel burn up heaps. I've already tried it. If you go back a couple of videos, we did a Monty's trip, bit of R&D with props, ran a 19. I do run a 21 stainless, went back to a 19 and pretty much just about doubled our fuel burn running a 19. So there's a little bit of backstory. So we booked this thing in for a tune. Pretty simple thing, so you think, but it didn't go to plan. We went to go out last week. If you follow our Facebook channel and all the rest of it, sorry for waffling on a bit here, guys. If you follow our Facebook, caught a nice queenie and got some nice fillets, got a nice jack, nice little cod. But we went into limp mode, put the boat in at 4 o'clock in the morning, boom, straight into limp mode. There was an issue of how the tune was uploaded. Yeah, a bit of unforeseen stuff anyway. But so yeah, went back, it's all uploaded now, and that's first startup. So we're just idling along steady, and I got no codes coming up, so I'm stoked with that. So obviously it's worked. So today's aim is to take it out, give it a bit of a caning, troll with it, basically use it how we want to use it, and probably rack up about 100-200 k's today just to put some time on it, and yeah, see how it goes. Make sure it's all good, because as everyone knows, reliability is key. And what's the word I'm looking for here? Faith. You gotta have faith in your gear, and as soon as your boat goes into limp mode, the faith goes zero faith in it. So we're out here to cut a few k's and to try and get a bit more faith in this thing. Wind today is pretty good, as you can see. It's not too bad. It's meant to kick up about 10 knots, so nothing we can't handle today. So I'll just take the dogs out for a lap, cut a few k's, chuck a few lures in at some stage, and I'll actually do a walkthrough of the boat. I'll get a lot of flack that I haven't done a walkthrough yet. I've tried 2 or 3 times, but I've just done a shit job at it. So I'll just rattle one off today, and yeah, I'll show you what this thing's all about. Let's get into it. Quick history lesson here. That's why we're floating around in all this muck. We're just wound the rods up. We had a bit of a trawl. Enderby Island used to be a sheep station back in the day. Used to be a couple of sheep stations out here. East Lewis, West Lewis, both the same. If you've ever been on these islands, it's got me stuffed what those sheep ate. There's not a lot to eat other than spinifex and more spinifex, and there's not a lot of water. Very dry islands, as you can see. Very rugged islands. Nonetheless, they made it work back in the day. I don't think they were growing for meat, just growing for wool. So they weren't after big fat sheep, just as long as they could support the wool. Anyway, history lesson of the Pilbara. sheep farms, sheep stations, sheep islands, whatever you want to call them. Anyway guys, we're gonna hit it. We've been trawling for probably an hour now. One small mackie, nothing worth writing home about. But yeah, so we're gonna hit it. Rosemary Island up ahead there. Nice big jacko barge there. But yeah, we're going to pretty much try and circumnavigate all the islands here today, and I want to try and get up. It's coming up to high tide, not probably a couple of hours from high tide. So I want to try and get up a little spot there, and I can show you some rock art, which is what the Pilbara is pretty well known for, our rock art. And I can drive my boat right to it. So anyway guys, hopefully we'll get there. Okay, so we made it up the creek here. Still going well. But hopefully you guys can make this out. It's a bit hard with the GoPro. There's a big flat rock up there. It's a bit hard to make out. Maybe I'll get my phone and I'll film a bit of this on my phone. But this is what it's all about. Adventure, finding stuff, history, all the rest of that. We haven't even left the boat. I meant to have the dogs on the islands here, so that's why we're not leaving the boat. Obviously if we get close enough, the dogs will bloody launch straight off. But yeah, that side there, there's just rock art everywhere through here. And if you ever get the chance to come up here, I've worked up here for quite a while, and those rocks there are some of the hardest rocks I've ever had to play with. Kind of tells you what I do for a living, operating machinery. So, but yeah, I was up here a long time ago, 20 years ago, and it was the third hardest commercially mined rock in the world. It was about 300 MPa for anyone that's interested in numbers, and it sounds like glass when you drop it. It's that hard. So to etch this stuff into some of these rocks, that's phenomenal. Oh, dragging across the mangrove. Anyway, I'll try and find a couple more. There's quite a few close to the water, so we'll mosey our way out this little creek here and see if we can find some. It's actually spectacular. Coming up a tiny little creek. I'll show you. That's pretty much what I came up. Not a lot of people know where this is. There is a lot of rock art in the Pilbara here. A lot of it. That's bloody awesome to see. So one question a lot of people ask when they come up here, why does it look like someone's just dumped piles of rock everywhere? Now, it's a pretty simple answer, that one. It just gets that bloody hot here. The rock gets that hot and it pops and breaks. So trust me when I say I've dug through a fair bit of this sort of rock over the years on a few jobs here and there, and it's solid underneath, but on top just looks like broken rocks, and that's exactly what it is. It's just a pure heat in the Pilbara that heats the rocks up to the point where they just, that's the end of it. That's why all our hills here look like little piles of rocks that someone stacked all through here. It's got too hot and broke. you have it, guys. That's this episode done and dusted. We'll pull it up there. I'll make a video of its own for the walkthrough, otherwise this one would have dragged out too long. And yeah, but anyway, so here's what we did for the trip. This is what it was all about. So we ended up rattling off 65 nautical miles for 60 litres of fuel. Now that's pretty good. That's really good, considering we were full beans for a while. 6,300 RPM for quite some time, if I could. We just tried to push the boat a bit harder than we would normally, just to make sure it's good. But other than that, most of it was between 30 knots and 25 knots, whereas we normally cruise to get those sorts of figures at 20. So we've bumped up between 5 and 7 knots for our cruise speed, and we're still getting the same amount of economy by doing a lot more and making it work a lot harder. So for us, the tune has worked really well so far. Hopefully it may still get a little bit better, but yeah, pretty stoked with it so far. So yeah, we'll wrap it up there, guys. As always, like, subscribe, share, and tell your mates, and cheers for watching.